Allow me to end at the beginning, at the crest of the wave. Across the expanse of time we scramble, pilgrims bearing pestilence, the spark of consciousness and civilization. The plain where once beasts ran, now crowded in nudity, shrouded in shame. Euphrates, Tigris, Ganges, Nile, where once we communed with wild things at the fruited banks, a desert bed now creeps and flames. From sordid hosts we flee to caves, fearing the face of creation. Will we uninvent the atomic bomb? The crops must be tended in ever-spinning circles across the expanse with fresh water. The Suez Canal, blocked by shipments to the Dead Sea, rings at the red telephone. Pax Romana, Pax Americana, in conquest and euphemism now sheathe your swords, and unto us, in our civilization, give the things that are ours. We should remember the wind and the plain where wild animals ran. Cannot the scourges of the plain ever be forgiven? Or may we now relax and find righteousness without forgiveness? Repent, that the whip may yet know its enemy. Repent, that the judgment of missiles might be wrought and heretics erased. Ready your venom to strike, for the hour is at hand. Know thy enemy, prepare to meet him. Slither comfortably into your warm armchair, and unclench your long-coiled wrath. There is a tree in Central Park that stands in a hollow, guard of a murky pool, where chill winds blow even on warm evenings, where I fear to pass as I feel its branches reach out for me, beckoning me into darkness. I hear the cry of a siren, and fire trucks are forever rushing past. From tenement halls to the financial district, words are endlessly lost to the sound of sirens. I recall hearing, on a dewy and damp evening downtown, at Le Jardin, just before a fateful spark and a gas leak in its kitchen loosed hellfire, a poet read at the open mic while connoisseurs chugged trampled vintages. Marching on in shackled nature, the low crackle of lost leaves remembers the smell of herbs. A green valley or high meadow, there lay the dreams of beasts once safely dangerous and free. Before it began, or possibly after, the dust of 1,000 things emerged as solids of light, swirling, crystallized in clouds, darkness upon its face, from nothing began and to nothing again. Dangled as on a chain, the garden rises in the mist of morning, in the humid noon and soft night. A tiny spark became us, a light from nothingness, surrounded by flowers and the unknown. The groans of beasts, the long vibrant garden not yet left, not yet exiled. Our gloved hands clasp, grasping at time, no longer fearful of lightning and seeing no stars. A jewel now tarnished, once clear its blue grays. Creepers reach to save it, crumbles and rot, seek freedom again, away from the harness, away from the net. I should remember the wind on the plain where wild animals ran, not yet exiled, not yet left, actively building, actively leaving, unaware of the final swoop of the sword, flaming still, inevitably to come. They fled as the smoke poured in and the lamps were choked out. They could hear the trembling of the beams as their insides turned to charcoal. Some clutched their imported bottles or dropped them shattering, hot from the inferno. As they emerged into the street from the blackening doorway, the fire crowned the beech tree on the sidewalk and they were transfixed. In naked light it stood tremendous, haloed and blazing. Its leaves, like 1,000 eyes, rattled in the wind, and its 1,000 arms reached out, forbidding, each clutching a sword of flame. I fell asleep. and I dreamt I sang a carol, and I recalled good faces I'd long forgotten. What else can I do but try to love as an animal loves, and turn my face to the sun? It is spring again. The brown carpet has been replaced and the kitchen floor retiled. The rear entryway has been remodeled, and I stare at the clock. The light of morning splits between the branches of the cherry tree out the back window. I can picture Millicent, an old woman of the church, poised with her hand reaching upward. Gloria, Gloria, the light would come through the old stained glass, shooting colorful lines of dust across the sanctuary. He stands amongst the animals in a brown robe, eyes turned down in care for the flock. As I stare at the clock, I think about biology and complexity. Time, space, matter, energy, particles, life, shapes, light. We have made cubic rooms. We have carved stones and wood into categorized blocks and objects resembling ourselves. Meanwhile, working constantly against us, the elements of our creation are crumbling back to their original form, rejoining the earth. I should remember the wind on the plain where wild animals ran. Yet I think I can still feel the presence of God hovering somewhere between myself and the clock, in the particles of dust lit by the morning sun. I wonder, did my earliest ancestors, just before they rose from fur to begin destroying the garden, stop and gaze through the branches of the prehistoric trees and wonder, how far am I from Canaan?
No!